you love PvP because the next match is also Huck versus Polt, which is happening right now.
Can't wait for that. But let's go ahead and introduce the players. Then I actually want to talk about predictions because we didn't get into those yet today.
That's right.
But in the mid-right-hand position as the yellow Protoss, we do have Mao's HasuObs, who, as I said before, has been on a tear recently in European tournaments, just taking first place everywhere, taking a ton of money. And one of those players, as you said, that might not be too popular in the U.S. North American scene, but definitely is well-renowned in the European scene. He's up against Arthur, who is the newcomer to the league. Now, HasuObs has been with us since Season 1. Arthur just joining us in Season number 4.
Arthur is a guy that qualified through his Protoss versus Zerg. He was just dominating through standard 3-base play. It was like expand to the 3rd Immortal Century, and then just push with Colossus pre-hive. It was like a rinse and repeat kind of system. And then maybe threw in a couple Immortal pushes here and there, but for the most part just played solid styles. Don't know too much about his Protoss versus Protoss. He did play against Huck, but Huck managed to squeeze out a win against Arthur, so still not enough data points. Arthur doesn't even have that many documented, less than 10 games on Wikipedia. So, or not Wikipedia, TLPD. So I'm still anxious to see how Arthur approaches this. He seemed to have taken a more defensive nature, unless he was 4-gating when he's playing against Huck. But again, I want to see how he fares off against someone like Hasu. Hasu, how would you describe his PvP style, Arthur?
Very reactive, very responsive. He likes to go sort of like a two-gate robo type of play, 2 or 3-gate robo, and just see what his opponent is doing. Doesn't take like a ton of huge risks like someone like Bishu. Bishu likes to do that 4-gate blink stalker, no robo, and just be super aggressive. Just directly blink onto that ramp and try to bust up there as best as possible. HasuObs, you won't really see him doing too much of that, but he has been known to actually mix it in here and there, just so that he doesn't get something like hard countered. But this is very interesting. Arthur is opening up probably some sort of 2-gate opening. You can see so much Chrono Boost being saved over here. And it's not actually being committed to the Stalker nor a second gateway, so we might just see like 3-gate Stalker pressure to start us off. You can't really go to 4-gate, I think, because his probe count has been so significantly stunted in the beginning phase.
Now, I'm curious as well, because he did skip first Zealot, and he's not getting second gas. I think you're right. It might be a 3-gate pressure with Stalkers primarily, as you can see Arthur is starting to add on more gates. 2 more gates.
Nice.
HasuObs. That's exact. I think Hasu is able to. I think Hasu should be able to hold this. He does have 2 Zealots out early on, though. And is that enough to really hold, Andre?
The 2 Zealots do provide a little bit of coverage on the map, but the fact of the matter is he doesn't have a lot of Stalkers. Now, it is a pretty big map, and he's going defensive 3 gateways. I don't know. It's going to be tough, Rodan, no matter what. It just depends if, well, how well the positioning of HasuObs really is. I think he should actually try to take a little bit of position, but Hasu, scared that there's additional Stalkers. He doesn't want to take unnecessary damage, so that's why he's not pushing down right away. Arthur, there's a lot in his range, and HasuObs, I don't really think scouted. No, he didn't, so he needs to be a little bit careful. Now he's just poking out with the Stalker, knowing that he can actually run away if he needs to, but he sees the second Stalker, and he's like, oh, I have to be a little bit careful, because there are a couple of all-ins that can actually work out pretty nicely.
Yeah, and ooh, Arthur trying to drop the pylon on the bottom of the ramp, warping in Stalkers to get an advantage, and that's going to be really tough for HasuObs to hold. But he has to pull some probes here.
Yes, he does. And the Zealots will provide a little bit of coverage, but he needs to be careful. Those Stalkers were poorly positioned. And there is going to be another warping of units. Very nicely done. No, never mind.
Almost got the surround, but Arthur barely manages to get it. But he does deal with the pylon, and that's going to be very helpful.
Oh, the nice. And look at that microing back that weakened Stalker. Now he has high ground vision. He's going to warp in additional Stalkers. Is it going to be enough, though? He does have a a Stalker advantage at this point, but another Warpin should actually, help out quite substantially. You can see, losing us. Nope. Arthur's going to get out of there.
All right. Arthur's already planning his own transition. In a little bit farther behind than HasuObs, though, because he doesn't have second gas as long as he's had. So HasuObs getting Blink much earlier, as well as a Robo. He is very far ahead of his opponent. And this is going to be really nice if HasuObs can kind of continue to pad his lead, and even sniping this pylon.
This Robo is like the patented HasuObs style. A lot of players would actually say, I defended that pressure, I'm going to have Blink. Let's go ahead and take my expansion because I know I can put pressure on my opponent. But HasuObs says, okay, well, I have an advantage. I'm not going to die to anything stupid like Dark Templars. Let me go ahead and get my observers out. I can still apply pressure, but get a delayed expansion. He's really saying, like, I'm not going to die to anything silly, and just playing absolutely safe. So I love that. He even has that sentry on the high ground, so HasuObs playing this wonderfully. Now it's unfortunate because Arthur thinks that, oh, I'm going to have a continuation Blinkstalker timing, but he's going to be so sad once he realizes, oh my gosh, my opponent has Blinkstalker before me. And Arthur is actually losing a single Stalker as soon as Blink actually finishes.
Yeah, HasuObs going to kill every single Stalker.
That's
going to
right.
be nothing to defend. And the icing on the cake is that Hasu even has an Observer, so it's not like Arthur can turtle behind force fields either.
Uh-oh. And here we go. Blink finished. So we're going to see a big Blink up. There it is. And he shows that he already has Blink. Unfortunately for Arthur, he's going to have to go all the way up into his main, but I think one more Stalker will die. Maybe two.
And two
yes.
drops, but HasuObs has to bring his Observer around, although it just finished making. He's trying to bring it over. Oh, no, the Observer is back in the main base, and HasuObs going to force his way. He's losing a couple of units here. Has to be very cautious. Now that his opponent has Blink as well, Arthur could just set up a Superior Concave, but as long as he brings the Observer, though, he's okay. Arthur's starting to also add another gate. He's going to drop another force field, but that's just going to force, I guess, another sentry out of him as well, or he's not actually warping in a sentry. He can't afford it gas-wise.
Yeah, a little bit sloppy from HasuObs, but he's just trying to, really...
Whoa! Whoa!
Wow, what are you doing, Arthur?
Offensive Blink from Arthur is going to cost him dearly. He doesn't have any of his supporting units like his Zealot in position, and now the Observer is there. HasuObs can do the offensive Blink. He blinks forward as well. Arthur does not have much defensive left. The Stalker count way favoring the German Protoss player, and the WW has been called. Great job by HasuObs as he takes game number 1 in this best of 3 series.
You know, it's unfortunate. I predicted Arthur to actually take this. I felt like he made it really, really nicely through the open bracket, qualified himself for the NASL Season 4. He was just on fire. But for some reason, I don't know why I bet against HasuObs.
Yeah, it's a different story,
It feels so silly now.
Well, I bet on Arthur because I feel like his PvP is so mysterious that I don't know if it's good enough to beat HasuObs. I mean, it came close to Huck, but that series could have gone either way.
Yeah.
But I'm not really sure. I couldn't necessarily put my money on certain things. But you know what you could put your money on? Epson, the #1 projector brand worldwide. Check them out at epson.com while we take a quick break and reset ourselves for game number 2 between HasuObs and Arthur. So don't go anywhere. More action from Week 6 Division 1 right after this.